How you guys doing out there? My name is Kyle, and today I'm going to be talking about the film Jackie, which is directed by Pablo Larraín and stars Natalie Portman as Jackie Kennedy. And this story is told through two separate parts. The first part being an interview between her and Billy Crudup, and the second side which tells the story of how she dealt with the death of her husband, as well as having to maintain a different persona when she's giving interviews and when she's out in the public. Because in private, she's a very different person. I was excited to see this movie because I'm a huge fan of Natalie Portman. I really like her. I think she is a very beautiful and talented actress. I also am a huge fan of history. I love reading about history. I love watching movies about history. I think it's great to teach people about the past so that these events don't take place in the future. But I'm really a huge fan of history because it's important to see how people got to where they are and who they really were personally other than in the public. And this movie really documents that. I got to see this movie in the IMAX, and that was the same day I saw the movie La La Land. What this movie has going for it is an incredible lead. I think Natalie Portman really did a solid job as Jackie Kennedy, and we got to understand that she was a very complex person. She suffered from depression. Of course, after seeing your husband's brains splattered all over a car, you're not just going to be fine. She was also raising kids, but in her private life, she was a very quiet person. So when you see her in interviews, she has to really portray a very different side. She has to portray this sense of wonderment, this sense of intrigue. I think she did a really solid job conveying these two different personalities. That was very entertaining. I think the film looks good. There are tons of shots that are framed extremely well. There are many sequences of events that are infused with the actual footage, and I thought that was really cool because the sets in the movie looked very, very similar. There's one very long scene that takes place on a plane, and I felt the dialogue sequences between Jackie and the representatives were really good. I really like the score they used in this movie. However, in the IMAX, it was a bit too loud. I wish they could have turned the volume down because at times you couldn't even hear what the actors were saying. It was really that loud. Now this is where I descended to my cons. And what's unfortunate about Jackie is that my biggest issue with it is something that really can't be fixed in any way. See, when I look at a biopic, I look at it very differently from any and every other genre of movies. There are specific questions I ask myself before I see the movie, and after I see the movie, I try to think to myself, were these questions answered? Is this movie necessary in any way? Does this movie contain a story that is worth telling? Was the performance of the lead very captivating and extremely believable to the actual character that he or she is portraying? In the case of Jackie, I think Natalie Portman did a very good job in the role, but the other two questions just simply did not get answered in any way. This movie felt completely unnecessary. There's no overarching message that has something to relate to today's times. I felt like I knew at least 80% of the story. There were only a few little handful of things that I didn't know about. I didn't know that Jackie was a very reserved, quiet woman when she wasn't being interviewed, and I feel like that was something special. But other than that, it was just fine. It's got good cinematography. I like the score, as I stated before. Some of the dialogue sequences are very good. And Portman's performance as Jackie was very good. It's just, the movie itself was just okay. It's hard to say that it could be better because the story that's given, we already know about. It's also the kind of movie that has gotten a ton of praise from critics, and I don't understand that because from a critical standpoint, this movie is extremely overrated. And I think that they really wanted to pinpoint Natalie's performance, but not necessarily the movie itself. I was actually very surprised when I looked up the movie and I saw that it has 3 Oscar nominations, because I feel like Portman is the only one that really deserves it. It feels like a huge example of an Oscar bait movie and nothing else. It just doesn't feel like it's a really great movie. It feels like it's just an okay movie with a really solid performance and some good dialogue. As soon as the movie ended, I walked out of the theater and I was like, yeah, that was okay. That was my initial reaction, and I still think that to this very day. So in the end, guys, Jackie was just okay, and I'm going to give this movie a B-. So if you guys saw Jackie, what did you think? I'd love to hear all your comments, so send them in that comment section below. And guys, thanks so much for watching my reviews. As always, I cannot wait to make my top 10 movies of 2016 list. I just need to review a few other movies before I make that list. But guys, thank you so much as always for watching, and stay tuned.